What up, y'all? I'm back with another review, and I'm here to review the newest studio album from Armand Hammer entitled Paraffin. This released back in like late August, I believe. I think it was August 30th actually. And Armand Hammer is Elucid and Billy Woods. I want to say that they both produce. I feel like Elucid definitely does. I've been meaning to get to an Elucid project for a while. Um, I'm really looking to cover his next solo project whenever that drops. He's had a busy year though. He dropped Nostrum Grocers with Milo earlier this year, who dropped um, Sovereign Nose in Your Arrogant Face as Scallops Hotel back in January of this year. Talking about Milo, not Elucid. He also had another project that I a little earlier, like a month or so back. Um, didn't really get to it, but yeah, Lucid. He was featured on Milo's last album, 2017, Who Told You to Think, off the song Landscaping. And his verse was just amazing. I'd known about Lucid for a minute anyway, but I've been really looking to cover one of his projects, so I'm glad I got this. Billy Woods, I'm more familiar with him. He dropped Known Unknowns last year, which was really one of the better hip hop albums, just better albums, period, that I had heard all year. It was definitely one of the most underrated projects of 2017. Not just hip hop, just musical projects in general, at least that I had heard of and heard. So yeah, Arm& and Hammer, Paraffin. I wanted to cover Rome last year. I saw the critical acclaim it got and how people that I actually watch, other music reviewers on YouTube, talked about it, and I was like, I want to talk about it, but I just I didn't get into it. But this definitely more than Rome. So let's go ahead and get right into it. And I'll say this first. Even though I'm more familiar with Billy Woods than I am Elucid, I remember Elucid's track, his verse on landscaping more than I remember most verses from Billy Woods, not just no, but just Billy Woods himself. And sometimes it's hard to tell these two guys apart. Like sometimes I don't know who's who. Um, but Elucid, his voice is just a little more recognizable for me. So let's go ahead and get right into this. I think it was what 15 tracks long. Okay, the first track, Sweet Mickey. This beat was alternative, experimental, and abstract, and Elucid had the appropriate delivery to match that itself. So that was a good opening track. The second track, Rehearse with Ornette. There was a quote here. Where is it at? Okay. It's not even a quote, it's just the hook. All that he's seen left a hole in his brain, hole in his brain, hole in his brain. Like, this beat here was so grimy, like clumsy and muffled. It had echo effects on it, almost atmospheric. Like it was it was almost an eerie beat. Like it was this close for me labeling it just an eerie beat, but it was just so many things going on. I was like, I can't just label it eerie because there's way more going on than it just being eerie. The next track, which is one of my favorite tracks on here, the Tall. It's a very lo-fi, semi-atmospheric beat. Um, and really, what I have to say about this track is just the beat itself. I just love this beat. It has some echo, phaser, reverb, filter effects, and some wah-wah effects. Track number 4, No Days Off. The guitar in this beat here reminds me of Spanish Jesus off of West Side Gun's album, Supreme Clientele. And pretty much he was just saying like, yo, you don't work, you don't eat. Like that's just what it is. Track number 5, the Ferment Tapes. This beat is eerie and it's heavy. It's like this beat it's on the prowl. It's hunting. And that's what this beat sounds like. Um, what's this here? This quote. There's a reason people. Um, they said a lot here. They said there's a reason people look at you a certain way. There's a reason they don't talk when you're around or they leave when you're around. You're just saying like there's a reason people are funny around you. And when those drums transition on this track, it just bangs. I'm telling you, man, this is freaking great. Track number 6, Hunter. Um, a very faint bass, no drums at all. Um, and then by like a minute and a half into the song, these off kilter drums just kicked right in, and there was an eerie delivery from Elucid. And it was the perfect outro for this track because it was the perfect outro leading into the perfect intro for the next track, which was alternate side parking. This beat as well was very eerie. It's like it was some rooftop hopping at night Assassin's Creed shit. Like this was perfect for a setting like that. Talked about here things like a stolen car and how the cops pull them over, and then they empty the clip on them. And what did you say? The alternate side parking didn't leave the apartment. Then halfway through, it was a beat switch that led to a smooth, just very smooth beat. And this one quote, where is it at? Peace, not this evening. I'm not even close to even. No rhyme or reason, just open season. I was like, shit. Uh, you know what he's referring to is like police shootings. Track number 8, If He Holla, featuring Sketch 185. All I can really say about this is that it's an alternative, experimental, abstract banger. That's what this track is. Track number 9, Black Garlic, another banger. Um, I remember listening to this and I was like, maybe not so much the beat itself, but just elements of the beat. I was like, I've heard this, like this element, some of these parts of this beat somewhere. And then I just, for like 15, 20 minutes, I just kept listening. I just kept going back in my mind, like, where have I heard this? I'd play the beat and then I'd play the beat and then I would just like, where did I hear that exact part? And I realized it sounds like Above the Clouds by Gangstar featuring Inspector Deck. Definitely check that track out, by the way. Hip hop classic. Did I? Wait a minute. Okay, yeah. All right. Track number 10, VX. I gotta say, this beat was on some. It's so weird to say because you used to hearing someone say the MC themselves was on some bullshit, but this beat was on some bullshit. Like, this sounded like just like some straight bullshit. I don't even mean like maybe Al Capone type of stuff. I just mean like when you say boss today, it's like who do you imagine as a boss? Like someone who is living just a lifestyle that's totally different from what you live in. Maybe something that you aspire to, like just on some boss shit. Somehow that's what this beat sounds like. Check number 11, Vindaloo. What I really liked about this track was that the beat was very lavish, but I believe it was Billy that said old niggas always got much to say about nothing. And I feel that because, like, especially when talking about the new hip hop, old niggas really got a lot to say. But it's really just old niggas in general. But just niggas, people in general, just have a lot to say about a bunch of nothing anyway. So I just fuck with that anyway. Track number 12, Eco Mog or ECOMOG, Echo Mog. I think I'll go with that. I love this beat. It's like it has the it's a classical boom bap beat, but it also like implements, or I guess the better word would be infuses these elements of alternative and abstract um, elements, and it's like a hymnal almost, and it leads to this very smooth jazz hop lo-fi swing beat. Like this is like this album is just alternative hip hop. I wouldn't say so much experimental like a Death Grips or industrial at all, because that's definitely Death Grips. It's not. It's more abstract like a Milo or Open Mike Eagle, but it's at the same time alternative, just like a Open Mike Eagle or a Milo or a bus driver, uh, artists like that. ASAP Rock, I can see him on these beats without question. Track number 13, Bob Barker. This has to be like the most out there of all the tracks because it's in its own lane. Like I can't describe it any different from the other tracks other than like it's like the other tracks that you hear on here, especially some of my favorites, but it's like it just takes it a step further. It just goes deeper into this realm of abstract and experimental, well, semi-experimental and um, alternative music. Not even just alternative hip hop, just alternative shit. Like this track is in a lane of its own. Track number 14, Sudden Death. What was it? what I really have to say about this track is, um, it's one of the um, less memorable tracks on here. It just really just had a very sudden end to it. Um, but yeah, sudden down. But yeah, just a sudden end. I have the same thoughts about it, really, the way I do about Bob Barker, except Bob Barker is still, in a, just in its own, it's in its own class as far as this album goes. And the last track, Root Farm. The piano on this beat reminds me of the piano that you would hear when, I don't know, maybe you guys have heard it, maybe you haven't. I'm sure some of you have. It's like the piano that you hear on Heavy Rain, that game back from back in the day. Well, I can't really say. Can I say back in the day? I don't even know if it's been a decade. I don't think it's been a decade since that game dropped, but still, like, it's been at least 7 years, I'm sure, 6 or 7 years. That piano reminds me of that Heavy Rain piano that you hear on there. There's no bass, uh, just drums and percussions, but they're not overpowering. They're there, but they're not faint. Like, they're not faint, but they're not overpowering. They're just there. And the beat is almost lifeless. Like, this beat would be lifeless if there were no drums or percussions and the piano was faint. Like, this beat is just this close to um, being lifeless. And that's all the tracks. Really, what I have to say is that this project is, it's what I expected. Um, just when I first heard the album, I was like, I don't know if I want to review this. Um, then I saw the critical acclaim that this got. I think it got more critical acclaim than Rome. And I just kept going back to it, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to miss this. And I know I'm pretty much 3 months late on this, but I wanted to get this review out there because I really like Billy Woods, and I wanted to get something that has something to do with Elucid on here. So I guess you could count this as my first Elucid project reviewing, at least. I'm still waiting for a solo to review out. This next one, I'm going to be all over that. I'm going to review it. But yeah, I just wanted to do this review even though I'm pretty much 3 months late because I think this project was worthy of it. I didn't want this to slip through. I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen this project, maybe heard it, seen other people review it, but I wanted to go ahead and review it too because I think it was worth it. And after listening to it, it definitely was. Like, I wouldn't have reviewed this if I didn't think it was worth it. Like, I try to review only things that I think um, are good. Like, if it's something that I don't like or from an artist that I don't like and I do check it out but don't fuck with it, I'm not gonna talk about it. I don't want to talk about projects that I just don't like, from artists that I don't like, because I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to have all these negative reviews on my channel. I pretty much only want um, reviews with constructive criticism to just very positive to almost praise. Um, but yeah, so I'm glad I reviewed this. I just don't want to be one of those reviewers. Not like there's anything wrong with having negative reviews, but I try to only listen to music that I fuck with. The only time you'll see me give like a negative review, whether it's the rating or just how I talk about the album, is like if it's an artist that I really like or love, and they just happen to disappoint me. Kind of like last year, Big Crit, Forever the Mighty Long Time. Wasn't a bad album at all. I was just kind of disappointed, and I didn't see the critical acclaim that it was getting because I was like, people complain that Crit was doing the same thing, but then he does this, which is kind of the same thing that he was doing on the mixtapes, yet he did it better on the mixtape. So I didn't get how that project was getting way more acclaim than something like Return of Forever. But still, that's getting off topic. If I gave this a rating, I'd give it a solid 7.5, maybe edging towards 7.75 to an 8. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it right at 7.5. If you've heard this project, let me know what you think about it in the comment section below and what you think about my review on it. If you haven't heard this project, I definitely recommend that you check it out if you like guys like Open My Eagle, Milo, ASAP Rock, Blueprint, um, Willie the Kid, uh, guys like that. If you just like that alternative sound, like that alternative experimental abstract hip hop, maybe not so, like I said, semi-experimental, but more so alternative and abstract hip hop, definitely check this project out. And you know what to do. Hit the like button if you like this review. Share the review if you like the if you liked the review. Please leave a comment as I said. Check the description because everything's down there from my social medias to, there are like at least 10 links down there. So I'm sure you'll find one to click on. And that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see y'all next time.